Welcome to this explainer on the very foundation of life science. Today, we're unpacking one of the most fundamental, absolutely crucial questions in all of biology. How do structures actually help living things survive? Whether we're talking about a towering redwood tree, a microscopic bacterium, or, well, you sitting there watching this right now, the rules of life follow this incredible, structured logic. Let's learn how to read it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our clear roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll do some living versus non-living practice. Second, we'll look at cells, the building blocks. Third, defining structure and function. And finally, a CER check on a leaf cell claim.
Section 1. Living versus non-living practice. Before we can really talk about how life survives, we've got to make sure we know exactly how to categorize the world around us. Basically, is it alive? And more importantly, how do we actually know? I mean, think about a dog running through a park and a rock sitting right next to it in the grass. We all know the dog is alive and the rock isn't. But what specific biological boxes does that dog check that the rock just totally fails to meet? Have a guess.
So, here's the scientific breakdown. Living things share some very specific traits. They grow and develop, they reproduce, they respond to their environment, like that dog panting when it gets hot out, and they have cells. Non-living things, they just don't share these traits. A rock doesn't grow, it definitely doesn't have baby rocks, and it certainly doesn't sweat on a hot day. But most crucially, being made of cells is the ultimate, absolute, non-negotiable biological rule for life.
Section 2. Cells, the building blocks. Transitioning from macroscopic things like dogs and rocks all the way down to the microscopic level, we really need to address a massive common misconception. Do non-living things have cells? What do you think? Picture a piece of plastic, a glass of water, or even a metal spoon. Could there be, say, non-living cells making up that spoon?
Myth busted. The answer is a definitive, absolute no. Only living things are made of cells. Non-living things are absolutely not. So if you're ever in doubt about whether something is actually considered a living organism, just look for cells. It's literally the ultimate lie detector test. Cells are the exclusive signature of life. No exceptions. So let's put a formal definition to this. A cell is the basic building block of all living things. I'll say that again. The basic building block of all living things. Whether it's a giant elephant or just a tiny blade of grass, if you zoom in close enough with a microscope, you're going to find these microscopic units stacked up, all working together to keep the organism alive. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole concept perfectly. Think about a massive brick school building. From the outside, right, it looks like one giant solid object. But get up close, and you see it's actually constructed from thousands of individual distinct bricks. Living organisms are exactly the same way. We look at a human and see one person, but structurally, we're constructed from trillions of individual cells carefully arranged to build the complete organism. It's like a giant puzzle.
Section 3. Defining structure and function.
Now, this is where biology gets incredibly fascinating, really seeing how the physical form of an object directly dictates what it can actually do. First up, let's define structure. Structure refers to what something is made of and how its parts are put together. Just picture the structure of a regular old chair. Its four legs, its flat seat, and the wood it's made of. Structure is all about that physical reality.
Next is function. Function is the specific job, role, or purpose that a structure performs. Linking it right back to our example, the function of that chair is to provide a place to sit. The flat seat and sturdy legs, the structure, make the sitting, the function, possible. I mean, think about it. If the structure was suddenly made of jelly, the function of sitting would completely fail, right?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can apply this form-fits-function rule universally. Take a bicycle tire, for instance. Its structure is round, filled with air, and made of textured rubber. And because of that specific structure, its function is to roll smoothly and grip the pavement. Now, take a second and look at your own hand. The structure includes multiple jointed fingers and a highly specialized opposable thumb. Because of that exact arrangement, its function allows you to grasp and manipulate objects with incredible precision. Form perfectly fits function, every single time.
Section 4. CER check, leaf cell claim.
Okay, now for the grand finale. Let's take all these foundational concepts we just learned and actually apply them to a scientific argument. Here's the mystery to solve. Is a leaf made of cells? Take a second and mentally formulate an answer. Think back to our rules for living versus non-living. Do you have a hypothesis? All right, let's break down how a scientist would argue it.
So the crucial point is how we connect the dots here. Step 1 is our claim. Yes, a leaf is made of cells. Step 2 is our evidence, which is just an observable fact. A leaf is a part of a plant, and a plant is a living thing. Then step 3 is our reasoning, and this is where we bring those biological rules back into the mix. Because the rules dictate that all living things are made of cells, and a leaf is part of a living thing, well, it absolutely must be made of cells. Perfect, undeniable scientific logic.
We've definitely established the ground rules today. Living things are built from cellular bricks, and physical structure dictates function. But honestly, this leaves us with an incredibly exciting mystery moving forward. If all living things are made of cells, how might the physical structures of different cells change their functions to help an organism survive? Like, does a plant leaf cell have a totally different structure than, say, your muscle cell? And what incredible new functions do those differences unlock? Keep that provocative thought in mind as we wrap up. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.